Livestream.org live stream for Wednesday, June 21st, 2023. My name is Alan Collins. I'm founder of Student Loan Justice. If you're new to the group, welcome. We are the oldest, largest, first, and really only true grassroots group fighting only and absolutely for student loan justice. See our purposely distressed trucker's hat here. Thanks to Lisa Ansell in Los Angeles for that. Anyways, I hope everybody is doing well out there in the world. It is super freaking busy right now, guys. The Supreme Court case should be decided and released maybe tomorrow. Definitely, I'd say almost definitely by next Thursday. So either tomorrow, Thursday, or next Thursday. And we are just getting inundated right now by media requests for interviews. In the past couple weeks, we've been featured in many, many places. Today, we're featured front page at The Guardian. Really good piece by Michael Sonato. So many of our members were interviewed for this piece. It's fantastic. I was also very thrilled that finally one of our many, many pieces of unreported research was finally broken in today's Guardian article, and that is that even before the pandemic, over half of student loan borrowers were not making payments on their loans. That's something that nobody knows, but thankfully the Guardian finally at least reported it. So hopefully some other news media will pick up on that fact. People need to know this stuff, guys. And by the way, there's still many, many unbroken facts that need to get out there in the public conversation, like the fact that older people now outnumber younger people with student loans. And they owe far more, despite having borrowed far less, by the way. And other stuff as well, like the fact that 85% of all student loan borrowers were underwater on their student loans even before the pandemic. So 85% of all federal student loan borrowers were never going to be able to repay their loans even before the pandemic. It's very true, very provable. In fact, the chief operating officer of the federal student loan program said that nobody knows it. They need to know it. Like the fact that the government makes a profit on defaulted loans. There's many other very important points that I hope that we can get published here in the next couple of weeks. So right now, I would ask, if you want to be interviewed about your student loans, you should really go to our Facebook group. Right there, Facebook group, SLJ group, right there. So facebook.com/groups/SLJ group. Or just Google Student Loan Justice and look for Facebook, and you can find it there. We've got many, many, many requests out there. We've got a couple of public ones from Barron's, from the Financial Times, and we've got a couple of other very high-profile newspapers who have reporters who are contacting people through our group, through the public comments and, PMing and DMing and stuff like that. So yeah, have a look. Also, if you don't plan on repaying your student loans, as most people will not, my best guess is that somewhere around 75% of everyone is not going to resume paying on their loans, maybe more, quite frankly. And if you fall into that category, send me an email, Alan, ALAN, at studentloanjustice.org. And let me know, and then I can forward it along. That's for we've probably got like 6 very large mainstream media outlets who are covering the story right now. So, yep, we're on a roll, guys. We're on a tear. And finally, some of the important truths are getting out. So I hope you're pleased, by the way. We worked very, very hard at this, and my hats are off to everybody who has been interviewed, is going to be interviewed, and etc. So I'm going to look for your questions and comments. Tonight, I want to talk a little bit about what we can expect over the next couple weeks. So the Supreme Court case, number one, we don't really care about, we are not impressed at all with the Joe Biden's cancellation gimmick. It was a gimmick. $10,000 does not help the worst hurt borrowers at all. Many, if not most people in our group are like, you may as well add 10,000 onto my balance. It's just ridiculous at this point. But having said that, a lot kind of does depend on how this Supreme Court case turns out. The consensus view on the street seems to be that the Supreme Court will deny Biden this loan cancellation for no good reason, by the way, but that's kind of what the word on the street is. Most people that I talk to in and around Washington, D.C. and in the press and other places. I, however, happen to disagree. I've looked pretty carefully. In fact, I've thought really deeply about this for many months now. And by the way, if you're new to the group, so you know, the whole concept of canceling student loans by executive order actually started here on this group. I kid you not. The very first media report that asked the question of whether the president indeed can cancel loans was a seminal interview that we did with Vice News in August 2019. And it was our petition, which I hope you will sign if you haven't, at change.org/cancel student loans, that lit that fire and became a huge deal. We've got like 1.2 million signatures now. But so the whole concept of loan cancellation by executive order started on this group. So you would think that we'd be thrilled right now that we're even talking about it. And I suppose we are a little bit, but guys, I'm telling you, this Joe Biden loan cancellation is nonsense. If it even happens, most people say it probably won't happen. I, however, actually disagree. I think that the Supreme Court is going to affirm Joe Biden's student loan cancellation. It's a very bold prediction I'm making, by the way. So mark my words, and if I'm wrong, forget about it. But but I'm very rarely wrong. I very rarely make bold predictions like this. But but I think they will probably affirm it. But they'll put language in the ruling, something to the extent that we're only doing this because it's a national emergency. Don't try this again, type of thing. Because frankly, I think that's what the swamp wants. They want the maximum number of people to resume paying on their loans when they turn the loans back on at the end of the summer. And if they deny this little piddly loan cancellation from Biden, I think a huge number, and already my best guess is that 75% of everybody are not going to resume paying. And within a few months after resuming paying, I think that's going to drop off even further still. So I would estimate that within 3, 4, 5 months after they turn the loans back on, I'd be stunned if even 20% of the people are making payments on their loans. So I think that we're going to see a mass wave of non-payments. We're going to see a huge wave of defaults. And ladies and gentlemen, we need to be very careful about that, because the one thing that the swamp wants, they want the loans turned back on, and they want the constitutionally enshrined right of bankruptcy remaining gone from the loans. If you're new to the group, nobody wants to file for bankruptcy. This whole thing comes down to bankruptcy. The reason this problem was allowed to grow, fester, and become nationally threatening lies in the unique stripping of bankruptcy rights from the loans, whether you would ever or never file. Founding fathers called for uniform bankruptcy laws. And the spirit, if not the letter, frankly, I think the letter of their law has been just violated grievously, uniquely for student loans. Whether you would ever or never file for bankruptcy, guys, it doesn't matter. We've got to get the leverage of bankruptcy back on our side, as the founding fathers called for in the Constitution, not the Bill of Rights, the body of the Constitution itself. I kid you not. If you look at Article 1, Section 8, you'll see the founding fathers call for uniform bankruptcy laws. And they call for it ahead of the power to raise an army and declare war. We've been doing this for more than 18 long years now, guys. And I can tell you that the one thing that the bad guys want are bankruptcy remaining gone from these loans, and for the loans to be turned back on. They'll make up that 10 grand in no time with penalties, interest, etc. They're not worried about that. They want to perpetuate this lending scam. And frankly, I should say the other student loan advocacy groups out there are completely full of shit. You have not seen them argue at all, fight at all for the return of bankruptcy rights to student loans. Frankly, I think most of them, if maybe even all of them, are corrupted. So they're doing deals with the debt collection industry. They're making money off of this thing by roping people into student loan consolidation and rehabilitation. They don't want to solve this problem. They're making too much money from this problem. And I could go on and on there, but suffice it to say, guys, we don't have any secret handshake deals with any bullshit student loan collection industry agents. We don't do deals with student loan we don't do any deals with anyone. The only place that we get funding from are personal gifts, just nickel and dime donations from normal people. We fight only and absolutely for the borrowers. And by the way, I am a defaulted student loan borrower, so you know. So this group is ethically pure, and I'll let the other groups speak for themselves, because the fact that they haven't fought for bankruptcy and the fact that they have even opposed bankruptcy kind of tells the tale right there, guys. You know, if they had returned bankruptcy to these loans a decade ago, we wouldn't be here today. The student loan problem wouldn't exist. It would be solved. But here we are at this late date, and the games in Washington, D.C. and Manhattan and other places, I would say Boston as well. The games continue. We've seen all the tricks and the traps, guys. So if you forget everything I say tonight, remember this. This all comes down to bankruptcy. So if the Supreme Court, like I guess, affirms the loan cancellation and people get this 10,000, maybe 20,000 knocked off, what's going to happen? It's frankly, strategically, that's pretty bad for us, which is another reason I think that's what they're going to do, because 20 million people who owe $10,000 or less, or maybe $10,000 or $20,000 or less, who will see their loans disappear as a result of this, will fall off the books. And that will cut the size of this problem by voters in half, right? It just will. Instead of 43 million people, it's going to be like 23 million people who have student loans. Now, the people who are left with student loans will be the people who have been hurt worse by these loans. And we remain as strong as we've ever been, because if you owe 10,000 or less in student loans, you're probably not on our group. So it doesn't really affect us in that way. But, you know, once they do this, then as far as the public conversation goes, it'd be like, oh, you want bankruptcy return? We just gave you the cancellation. Get out of here. You guys are done. You got your little thing, and now you're done. That's how that's going to go. And that's another reason why the swamp, that's what they want. The swamp, the student loan swamp, the people making money off of this scam, they would much rather the spotlight be off of them than on. They hate the spotlight. They're like cockroaches. They scurry when the lights are turned on. They don't like the attention. So it will be very tough. It will be very difficult for us, guys, if they affirm this loan cancellation. Now, again, mark my words, if and when they do affirm this cancellation, as I suspect they will, the other groups are going to be kissing and crying and clinking the champagne glasses. They're going to be calling it a huge win. They're going to be claiming all the credit for it, patting themselves on the backs. And meanwhile, they're going to continue to make money off of our asses. So just mark my words. Anyways, I'm looking for your questions and comments now. Maybe I should also take the other on the other hand. If the Supreme Court denies this loan cancellation, then many people are going to go over the edge, guys. Many more people are going to hopefully join our group. They're going to say, you know what? I'm done. I'm not doing it anymore. And I think that'll probably be you. Because as I said, you know, I said it before, all things being equal, I don't think even 75% of the people will not resume paying. I think if they deny this loan cancellation, I think that may go up to like 80%. Like more people will not resume paying, and this will be terrible for politically for the Republicans. Probably would be pretty good for the Democrats actually, because the Democrats can continue to claim that they, Joe Biden can say, "Well, guys, I tried. I'm really fighting for you." But I think the swamp is kind of what matters, and Joe Biden has always been a friend of the swamp. So I don't think that second thing's going to happen. If that second thing does happen, then it's going to get very radical. And who knows, guys? There's a lot of people, maybe not on our group, but I just know that there are a lot of people in debilitating stress over these loans. And I think a lot of people are going to snap. I can't predict what that will look like, but I think it will get pretty ugly, ladies and gentlemen. And it should. Both parties have betrayed us. No matter. And here's the most important thing I'm going to tell you tonight. No matter which way the Supreme Court case goes, we're still screwed. Either way, they're going to turn the loans back on. And unless and until we get the leverage of bankruptcy returned, we're going to be served up to the collection industry, the student debt collection industry, like lambs to the slaughter, like the turkey on the platter at the Thanksgiving dinner. In the words of Elizabeth Warren, not mine. Shame on Elizabeth Warren, by the way. She betrayed us on bankruptcy last congressional session. But I digress. So I'm looking for your comments now. I'm seeing we have quite a few. Let me just apologize in advance, guys, if I am not able to get these comments here tonight. But I see we have quite a few comments. I will try and get through them. So Scarlett, Annette Pendarvis is with us tonight. Hey, Scarlett. She says, I could be wrong, but I don't think the forgiveness will go through. The judges are Republicans. They are not wanting to forgive debt. I read an article today. If they do not give an answer by the end of June, the judges may ask for new talks, and the decision may not be made until October. By then, the payments will restart. There will be a mass default by then. Sometimes people get too greedy. We will see, and I would be shocked if they grant it. Well, that's an interesting wrinkle, Scarlett. I hadn't really thought about the possibility of them deferring a judgment in this case. I don't know that I can recall any other times when a case has been held over into the next Supreme Court session. I suppose stranger things have happened. And what Scarlett says is what the common logic would indicate. And yeah, I mean, if you listen to some of the comments made by the Supreme Court justices, Gorsuch, I don't know what the new guy said, John Roberts, others, it would seem to not bode well for us. But like I said, guys, and it's really hard for me to explain why I am predicting that they will affirm it. It's just, I've been living and breathing this stuff for 18 years now, guys, and the student loan swamp, I know them very well. And I'm pretty confident that I know how they think, and I know how the swamp works. And so I could be wrong, but we hopefully will know either by tomorrow or by Thursday of next week. And if they do defer it, then Scarlett called it. That would be surprising to me, but stranger things have happened, I suppose. So Michael Chaney, hey, congratulations. Michael Chaney was one of the people featured in today's front page article at The Guardian. Michael says, we need to kill the BS from the press, hit the weaponization issue of student loans. Yes, I agree completely, Michael. We've been saying that student loans have been weaponized against the people way before the Republicans had co-opted the term to talk about the weaponization of government, like by many years, by the way. And the media is terrible on this issue. And don't get me wrong, guys, we are featured in the media quite frequently. But I can tell you guys, the mainstream media, journalism in general, is hugely stacked against us against the borrowers. Like 95% of the articles that you read about student loans are seeded by our opposition, by people who are making money off of this loan scam and who at all costs want to keep bankruptcy rights away from the loans. And they don't want cancellation either, but that's really kind of a secondary issue. The most hopeful thing that I'll tell everybody tonight is when we do get the leverage of bankruptcy rights returned, the president, the secretary of education, they're going to have to cancel loans very broadly, very meaningfully, very deeply, maybe even totally. And I can explain more about why that is true, but it's a very direct path between us getting the constitutional leverage of bankruptcy returned and seeing very widespread student loan cancellation without even having to ask for it. Founding fathers were not stupid when they called for uniform bankruptcy laws, guys. They also called for equal protection under the law, and student loan borrowers are not afforded equal protection under the bankruptcy laws. So there's a very good reason that the founders called for it, guys. And they may have certainly had their faults, but they were right on this one. So Gordon Wayne Watts from Florida says, I predict that Alan Collins will say the Supreme Court will get, okay. Gordon has heard me make that prediction before, apparently. So, and I think I may be looking at the wrong comments, guys. I hate to say this, but I think I am. Let me see if I can find more updated comments, shall we? Oh, here we are, right here. Okay, hold on one second. Okay, well, hey guys, like I said, I'm sorry, we're over time. I'm sorry I couldn't get to all your comments, but just rewind this. Lots going on, dudes. I cannot encapsulate all that's going on, but if you can't tell, we're kicking ass and we need your help. So rewind this live stream. The last thing I will say is if you could please donate at this time, it would be fantastically helpful. As I said, we don't make money except for through normal donations from normal people. We can do what we do on very little funding, guys, very little. And thankfully we met our fundraising goal for this week. But next week we're going to have to raise around $500 to $600, which will be difficult. So if you appreciate this group, appreciate all that we've done, appreciate all that we're doing, appreciate all that we're poised to get done, then please donate. Just show the love so I can shut up about it. I suck at fundraising. And maybe the very last thing I'll say is if you're new to the group, if you're wondering, what can I do? What you can do is this. Do our daily actions. We do these nearly every day. You can look up and down on our Facebook group as well and see what our daily actions are. They're very quick. It's usually mostly just Twitter stuff. And by the way, I would also ask that you follow us on Twitter. That would be very helpful. And that's Student Loan Just #1. So all these things, guys, it takes a village. We're not going to get anywhere unless you sitting there own this problem. That's always been true. It's always been true. These are your loans and this is your problem. And this group right here is the tip of the spear. We are the eye of the hurricane for actual, not pretend, actual student loan justice. So tell everyone you know about this group. Tell everyone you know about our petition. And let's rock, guys. Let's build off this momentum for once. I need to be done with this problem. I need to move on with my life, and I hope you feel the same way. So, okay, I may be doing a live stream tomorrow, depending on how things go. We'll see. Hang in there. I hope you're pleased. Good luck. Godspeed, and God bless everyone.